Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty.
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape podcast, welcome to another episode, another edition of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. So glad to be here this morning. We're going to get right into it. But before we do that, you know I have to publicly acknowledge the members of this channel, the supervisors of the Roll the Tape film crew. Double salute to my guy, All Things. He's in the building. He just pulled up in the parking lot. I seen him. And then Miss Barbara D. Double salute to Miss Barbara D. Pulled up and parked right next to All Things. They're members of the channel, supervisors of the Roll the Tape film crew, as the viewership is increasing exponentially. If you're watching the replay of this live, I welcome you. Come on in. Everybody, come on in. Before you grab a seat, grab a plate, because I have some food that I want to serve you. Yes, some food for thought. Now, enough with the hugs, handshakes, and Valentine's Day cards. What's up, Big Rick and Kentrell? Omega Red, what up? Bill Haney is back at it again. Yes, I know what the title says. Yes, I'm fully aware that the title says that Bill Haney exposed the politics of boxing. I know. I want to dive into a few tweets that Bill Haney published. And obviously, he was pushing back on the criticism that the media has been giving his son, Devin the Dream Haney, for the lackluster performance on Friday night, May 2nd. Double salute to Miss Barbara D, already getting the air fryer plugged up. Double salute, Miss Barbara D. Thank you so much for your contribution and your support to the channel. Thanks for the super chat. Miss Barbara D says in the super chat, Manager Marty, I'm ready for my breakfast. Thank you so much. And you know I'm going to serve it to you right here, hot and ready, Miss Barbara D. And I'm talking about breakfast for all of you haters out there that always try to find a way to get me jammed up, try to find a way to see a flaw in my statements so that you can come up here or be in my comments section or email me or be in the live chat or be on the panel and try to tell me how wrong I am. I'll tell you this part though. I won't get it wrong today, especially talking about Bill Haney. And I usually don't get it wrong often. But when we talk about the business of boxing, you ain't going to find this nowhere else. That's why I'm glad y'all here this morning. Let's start off with this. Because Bill Haney, you can go in and look at your screen. I promise you I won't keep you long this morning. Bill Haney tweeted. I'm going to read the tweet out loud just in case you can't see it on your screen. You might be preoccupied at work. You might be cleaning up. You might be driving. You might be doing something where your eyes can't focus on the screen. So I'm going to read it to you. This is what Bill Haney said. Dan Raphael, I quote, Dan Raphael and Tim Bradley, etc., said the fight was boring. But after 12 rounds with Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez ended up in the back of an ambulance while Devin sat ringside, laughing and ready for the next challenge. Hurt business ain't rock'em sock'em. Hashtag win or lose. End quote. Those were the words of Bill Haney. I want to dissect something that Bill Haney actually said, and then I can use what he said as a teachable moment. But first, Bill Haney should have included my name with where he put and inserted, etc. Because I'm the first person. And the fight, look, and the fight card wasn't even over when I dropped my video. The fight card wasn't even over. By the time my video was published, obviously it was, but the time I recorded my video and published it, the card was completely over. I'm talking about the main event, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly. That was done. Now, of course, later on, people start talking about it, but my point is that I'm not the only one that said that I was disappointed in the lackluster performances of all 6 of the professional boxers who competed on this main card on Friday night. But needless to say, Bill Haney pointed out that Dan Raphael and Tim Bradley, and of course, etc., meaning others, including myself and whoever else, said that the fight was boring. Here's the thing I have an issue with, and I have to speak on this and give business perspective on it so that I can use it as a teachable moment for all of you. Bill Haney said, but after 12 rounds with Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez ended up in the back of an ambulance while Devin sat ringside laughing and ready for the next challenge. I want to stop right there. This event took place outdoors in the middle of Times Square in New York City. There was an ambulance, obviously medically qualified EMT personnel were on the scene, and Devin Haney sat ringside laughing while Jose Ramirez ended up in the back of an ambulance. Now, the issue I have with that is that Bill Haney, again, is using his manipulative tactic to make the general public believe that Jose Ramirez was completely injured. He was hurt so bad from the whooping that Devin Haney put on him, that it made Jose Ramirez end up in the back of an ambulance. Here's the teachable moment. Here's the teachable moment. Majority of you all don't know this. I'm going to use this teachable moment to educate you, because that's what we do over here. Now, it is standard protocol in professional boxing. Hear me and hear me good. Standard protocol in professional boxing, regardless of where the event take place, regardless of the venue. Here in the United States of America, anytime a professional boxing event takes place, there will always be EMT medical personnel on the scene. Let me be a little bit more specific when I say on the scene. Inside of the venue and very, very close to the boxing ring. So I want to make sure we're clear on that. I want to teach y'all something now. There's two types of medical personnel at every single boxing event, professional boxing event in the United States of America, irregardless of the location and venue. The first and primary medical personnel that's on the scene is the licensed, qualified, certified ringside physician. Every time a professional boxer exits the boxing ring after they finish competing, there's a licensed, qualified, and certified ringside physician that will medically evaluate them. That licensed, qualified, certified ringside physician is employed by the athletic commission who sanctions the bout. For an example, in this case, let's say Ryan Garcia versus Rolly in New York City. The New York State Athletic Commission, along with their personnel, will be sitting ringside next to the professional, licensed, qualified, and certified ringside physicians. I want y'all to be clear on what I'm saying here. No matter the location, no matter the venue, no matter the state that this professional boxing match is being held at, it doesn't make a difference. That's a part of the promoter paying for the services of the ringside physician because it is a standard protocol. It's mandatory. In other words, is a professional boxing event cannot take place without the authorization of the athletic commission in the state where the event is going to be taking place. There's some expenses that the promoter will incur for this fight to be sanctioned. Okay? And a part of that expense is having the standard protocol of a licensed, qualified, certified ringside physician, which is basically a medical doctor, who is employed by the commission to be ringside. That's standard protocol in professional boxing. here in the United States of America. The second form of medically qualified personnel on the scene are EMTs. Okay? They're literally close by the ring, close by the boxing ring at all times. Why is that? Let's say a professional boxer gets knocked out. When I say knocked out, I mean not an official ruling from the judges. I'm talking about unconsciously. You know, like how David Evanesian got knocked out in the 6th round by Terrence Crawford, like that. You know how Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Juan Manuel Marquez, like that. And the list goes on and on. When a professional boxer is unconscious, medical provisions have to be made that exceeds the level of care that the ringside physician can provide. In other words, a ringside physician is not walking around with an oxygen mask, but that equipment comes with the EMT, the ambulance, etc. Because that's usually how they wake professional boxers up, if necessary, when they're unconscious after a certain amount of seconds and or minutes. Okay? I don't want to dive into that process. I'm just trying to give you some foundation so that you can understand where I'm going with my point. But I want to give you some education, some sauce, because you ain't gonna find this nowhere else. Your favorite content creator don't even know this. Some of you haters, when I say your favorite content, I'm talking about the haters of mine, yeah, them. But my point is though that they always are on standby in case something is wrong with a professional boxer that might require their immediate attention and care. And if they can't render or provide the services needed right there on the spot, the ambulance vehicle is already parked outside of said location and or arena or venue. That's how you be able to tell how quickly medical personnel respond if a professional boxer needs a stretcher, or some people call it a gurney, a stretcher. The stretcher is already outside. The equipment is already outside because the ambulance, the vehicle, it's parked outside. While the EMT, the medical personnel, they're inside on standby. I'm saying all of that to educate you on this point that Jose Ramirez didn't be the only one ending up in the back of an ambulance to get evaluated. All the fighters out there were evaluated. Why? Because the event was outside. It was outdoors. The ambulance was already outside. Now, if it was indoors, that's something different. I'm going to give you an example. Like when Devin Haney fought Ryan Garcia and they disappeared. Bill Haney, Devin Haney, they disappeared. Remember? They didn't go to the post-fight press conference, did they? Somebody in the chat stop me when I'm lying. Okay, then. They ran out the back door, mhm, jumped in the big black truck, and peeled off. I wonder if they went to the hospital because they didn't end up in the back of an ambulance to be transported after that fight, did they? But Devin Haney was suspended for 8 months, indefinitely. Y'all remember that? Oh, okay. I just wanted to give you some background on that. So with that being said, the ambulance was already outside. All of the fighters were medically evaluated after the fight. That's standard protocol. Bill Haney saying it as if Ramirez was hurt so bad that he needed medical attention. I'm going to stop there because there's another point I want to drive home. Double salute to Miss Barbara D. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Barbara D. Miss Barbara D says in the super chat, the only excitement for me was the knockdown you predicted, Manager Marty. Thank you, Miss Barbara D. I didn't even get a chance to speak on the fact that I told everybody on Friday, a few hours before the fight, live and live in color, that there would be a knockdown in the fight between Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia. I actually forgot all about that, Miss Barbara. And that was the only excitement for me as well. Thank you, Miss Barbara D, for that. And we also got my guy, Mr. Finesse. Double salute, Mr. Finesse. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Mr. Finesse says in the super chat, salute, Manager Marty. Turkey needs to focus more on the actual fights and less on the BS surrounding it. All that buildup and all the fights sucked. I agree with you, Mr. Finesse. In fact, when we come back on here live and live in color tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to break down Turkey Al-Sheikh and what you're talking about, Mr. Finesse, and him holding Terrence Crawford's hands. And not only him holding Terrence Crawford's hands, but Terrence Crawford curled his fingers up. Did y'all? I said that yesterday. I don't want to belabor the point because I'm going to bring all this back up tomorrow, but you're absolutely correct. Mr. Turkey do need to focus more on the actual fights. But the reason why Turkey can't focus on the actual fights is because Turkey don't know the actual business. I'm going to break all this down like an old rifle tomorrow. But today, I got a question on that for Bill Haney. Back to my original point. Jose Ramirez ended up in the back of an ambulance because he went 12 rounds with Devin Haney. My question is this, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Look at your screen if you can, and if you can't, that's okay, I'm going to read it. This is Bill Haney, another tweet, and I quote, "The playing field ain't level. Devin Haney landed 70 punches versus Jose Ramirez and was criticized for being boring. Canelo Alvarez landed 56 versus William Scar, the lowest combined punch total in CompuBox history, being described as strategic and calculated. WTF. Thumbs down. Bill, hey Bill! You mean to tell me that Jose Ramirez was sitting in the back of an ambulance after going 12 rounds with your son Devin Haney after your son only landed 70 punches? Hold up for a minute. See, Bill don't pay attention to his own words when he say them. You mean to tell me Devin Haney landed 70 punches versus Jose Ramirez in 12 rounds, and those 70 punches within 12 rounds that he landed Jose Ramirez in the back of an ambulance? Come on, Bill, make this make sense. Since when does Devin Haney land 70 punches and put anybody on the ground or an ambulance? When? When does this ever happen? Double salute to my guy D1. Wrench coming your way, big dog. Double salute to D1 for the cash app. Appreciate you, man. I'm just trying to figure out 70 punches that he landed is what got Jose Ramirez in the back of an ambulance? Interesting. Now let's get to these 70 punches landed. Because Bill Haney is making a comparison to Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez landed 56 punches versus William Skull. This is what Bill Haney is saying. I don't know if that's a fact or not. But let's say it is for the sake of this discussion. Canelo landed 56 punches on William Skull. Devin Haney landed 70 punches versus Jose Ramirez. The difference between Canelo landing 56 punches and Devin Haney landing 70 punches is that Canelo landed 56 punches against a guy who was retreating and running from him. But Devin Haney, to the contrary, landed 70 punches and he was the guy retreating and running from Jose Ramirez. Hey, Bill! Make this make sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Devin Haney landed 70 punches, but he was retreating the whole night. He was sticking and moving the whole night. He was running on the balls of his feet all night long. Whereas though with Canelo landing 56 punches, he was supposed to land 56 punches. You see how well William Skull was moving? You see how well he was retreating? You see how well he was moving on the balls of his feet away from Canelo? But you're saying that your son, Devin Haney, landed more punches than Canelo, but the thing is, your son was retreating, moving away from Ramirez and moving on the balls of his feet like he was William Skull. That's the difference, Bill. There's no conspiracy against you and your son, Bill Haney. And guess what? We can take it another step further, if we shall. Let's say Devin Haney did land 70 punches. How effective were those 70 punches? Because if it landed Jose Ramirez in the back of an ambulance, how come we didn't see any results inside of the ring from them 70 punches? I mean, I didn't see. Did y'all see it? I'm just asking, did y'all see it? Usually when a fighter, a professional boxer, end up in an ambulance after a fight, the referee usually somewhere throughout the fight is moving closer, inching in, inching in, inching in to make sure that they can be in position to stop the fight. Or sometimes the fighter even get knocked down. Or sometimes the fighter don't get knocked down, but their face looks so deformed or so swollen where at some point, before they even get into an ambulance, while they're in the fight, they're going to need someone to step in on their behalf and either throw that towel in, meaning from their corner, or the ref is going to have to use his or her professional judgment to stop the fight so that the safety of that professional boxer is not jeopardized. But I didn't see any of that. I mean, I saw Jose Ramirez still keep coming. He wasn't effective in his aggression, but at the same time, he was the lion pursuing the fleeing Devin Haney. So my question would become now that we have determined that Devin Haney landed 70 power punches or 70 punches in total, that's from him moving. That's with him moving on the balls of his feet. That was from Devin Haney retreating and fleeing. How many more punches, Bill, do you think he could have actually landed if he would have just stood there in the pocket and landed combinations against Ramirez? If he can land 70 while Devin's moving on the balls of his feet, how many more punches do you think he can land when he's not moving? Because Ramirez was just a stationary target anyway. So basically what I'm getting at is by Bill Haney saying that Devin Haney only landed a total of 70, a total of 70, not 70 jabs, not 70 power punches, not 70 body shots, which I don't even think he landed any one of those or even threw them. He landed 70 total punches. Well, if that's the case, Bill, then that means that Devin Haney's performance could have been more increased and improved if he would have threw and landed more than the punches that he threw and landed. If he can land 70 while moving, just imagine how his performance would have been better. Just imagine how much praise Devin would be getting right now on Monday morning and Saturday and Sunday morning if he would have landed more than 70 power punches or more than 70 total punches in general against Ramirez by not moving. See my point? So Bill Haney is inadvertently exposing himself. And it's unfortunate, but we got to keep it real and call a spade a spade. You ain't going to find this nowhere else. I promise you that. Hey, Bill! That's the difference. He landed 70 total punches, then that means that if Devin Haney landed 70 total punches against Ramirez, that goes to prove my point that I illustrated yesterday on the live. My point was that Devin Haney performed better against Ryan Garcia, a guy who had Ostarine in his system, a guy that people are saying intentionally cheated Devin Haney. Devin Haney landed more than 70 punches on Ryan Garcia, the cheater, than he did against a non-cheater, Jose Ramirez, who didn't test positive for Ostarine. Can somebody help me do the math on that as the viewership is increasing exponentially? Hey, don't get mad at me. I'm just calling it straight down the middle. Don't get mad at me. It's just a question that I'm asking. How is this possible? How? Devin Haney lands less punches versus a guy who was not a power threat to him, but he landed more punches and was more effective in his aggression and advancing and moving forward against Ryan Garcia, a guy who had Ostarine in his. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out. That's all. Don't get mad at me. These are Bill Haney's words, and I'm giving my professional reaction to it, which makes a lot of sense if you ask me. Now let's go back to Bill Haney's tweet. The tweet was from Bill Haney. Look at the bottom of your screen. If you don't have the ability to see your screen, I'm going to read it to you. End quote. This is the words. Well, it's a quote first and then an end quote. So the quote from Bill Haney, talking to Dan Raphael. You don't know SHIT about boxing. And he actually was quoting Roger Mayweather. Dan, if a man goes to the ambulance and the other walks out laughing ringside, end quote. So that's Bill Haney again, basically telling Dan Raphael that, hey, you don't know nothing about boxing, Dan Raphael. You don't know S about boxing. Because my son, Devin Haney, made Jose Ramirez go to the hospital, and my son, Devin Haney, was sitting ringside just laughing. This is the tweet that Dan Raphael said to Bill Haney. And I quote, Dan Raphael, didn't understand it. LOL. It's a fight, not quantum physics. You loved me when I exposed Ryan's failed drug test. Now you don't when I give an honest assessment of a terrible fight. I'm fine with both sides of the coin. I actually agree with Dan Raphael. Have I publicly criticized Dan Raphael? Certainly I have. And so if I'm going to have that same energy for Dan Raphael when he's wrong about something and I publicly acknowledge it, integrity tells me that I must give him credit publicly the same way I would if he did something wrong or made an unfair assessment. So I'm going to publicly acknowledge that Dan Raphael was correct. He was right. You see, Bill Haney, and I know you might be watching. That's why I'm calling you by your name. You can't get mad, bruh, when someone says something that's not favorable to your son, because all of that come with it. This comes with it when it comes to media. We all already know this. Double salute to all the members of the channel and supervisors of the Road to Take Film crew. I see you in the live chat. This comes with it. You got to take the good with the good, the bad with the bad, positive with the negative. You're not going to always get favorable reviews. We all know this when it comes to media in general, but particularly in boxing. But the fans shouldn't be criticized. The media members shouldn't be criticized. The journalists, who are members of the media, but reporters, members of the media, shouldn't be criticized for giving an honest assessment of a terrible fight, of a poor performance, especially those of us boxing fans and content creators and the others who are members of the media have invested hard-earned money, and the most valuable asset is our time. So if we're investing time and money and watching the fight and the performance was extremely lackluster, you know what's funny about all of that? When Jerron Boots Ennis fought Karen the second time, you know how much criticism Boots had to get? And he was more competitive in that fight than Devin Haney was against Ramirez. Man, I mean, content creators was disrespecting Boots, media members, journalists, reporters. Oh, man. Man, Jerron Boots Ennis, man, his performance was lackluster. Oh, man, he looked real bad against, man, he looked real bad against Karen. But those same people are taking up for Devin Haney saying he had an A-plus performance. Or saying his performance against Ramirez was acceptable. How? How is that possible? We cannot pick and choose when the standard is established. Everybody got to get equal criticism. Everyone has to get equal praise if we're going by one standard. That's all I'm saying. Don't get mad at me. This is all facts. The air fryer is warming up too. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing wrong with saying that you accept Devin Haney's performance. But it's equally nothing wrong if you say that you don't accept his performance. It's all about being held accountable. Bill Haney has been on record saying that Devin Haney is the face of boxing. That's what he said. So when is this face of boxing going to perform like the face of boxing? That's what we're trying to figure out. Because Tank Davis is the face of boxing, and he performs and lives up to that name. Canelo Alvarez, face of boxing, he's performed and lived up to that name. I mean, every fight don't have to be flawless, ladies and gentlemen. This is boxing. But come on, Devin Haney. Every time you fight somebody that's your size, we have to deal with the reactions and the results of this. Now, of course, when Devin Haney's competing against older men who are smaller than him naturally in weight, oh yeah, he dominates them. That's good. But when the level of competition is increased, or when the person, the man, the opponent is his size, not so good. I mean, this is my thing. Y'all brought Sugar Shane Mosley into the camp. You had Nate Jones, brought him alongside of you all into the camp. That was the best Devin Haney can do? Land only 70 punches and start retreating and moving away? Not just for 1 round or 2 rounds or 3 rounds. Man, he was moving and retreating from the first round all the way to the last round of the fight. That was your game plan? That was the strategy? That's what you call outboxing? Ramirez wasn't a threat. That's the reason why Devin Haney was in the ring with him in the first place, wasn't it? Because he was a limited risk for Devin Haney, correct? He was a stepping stone for Devin Haney, correct? He was a tune-up opponent as a prerequisite to fight Ryan Garcia, correct? So then what was Devin Haney retreating for? Why did Devin only land 70 punches? That's what I'm trying to figure out. These are the questions that I have. And I'm still waiting for answers to them. Bill Haney. Hey, Bill! If you're listening, can you answer these easy questions? They're very easy. Y'all brought Sugar Shane and Nate Jones in for the performance to look like this? Now, somebody might say, come on, Manager Marty. Show me another time where someone else hired another trainer and then their performance looked better than Devin's. Okay, I'm going to give you one. Remember Timothy Bradley brought on Teddy Atlas? And Teddy Atlas was giving him that motivational speech in the corner about firemen? You see how Timothy Bradley snapped out of it, didn't you? And you see how he performed in the later rounds in that competition, correct? Oh, okay. You see when De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya, brought in Floyd Mayweather Sr.? Y'all remember that? Yeah, when he fought Ricardo Mayorga. And Floyd Mayweather Sr. told Oscar De La Hoya in his motivational speech in the corner, you can knock this son of a B out right now. Stop playing with this guy. And you seen how Oscar De La Hoya snapped out of it. And you saw the results of that fight. Where was the motivation? Where was the instruction for Devin Haney to make an adjustment in that fight against Ramirez? That's what I'm really getting at with this. When I brought up Tim Bradley, when I brought up Oscar De La Hoya, 2 Hall of Famers, by the way. They made adjustments when they had a new trainer in their camp. And what I'm saying to you all is, where was the adjustment for Devin Haney? See, instead of Bill Haney spending more time on social media and trying to criticize content creators and criticize me or criticize Tim Bradley or criticize Dan Raphael, how about you take more time and learn the business of boxing? How about you take more time? Stop trying to be the chief second and the #1 trainer in the fight when you ain't training, Devin. And let the trainers that you paying, that you bringing in the camp, take over. What you think, you the black Jerry Jones? And I can say that because I am a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. And we know that that was a part of the main reason why the Cowboys ain't went nowhere. I know I'm transitioning to football, but I'm proving the point here. Where was the adjustment that Devin Haney should have made to improve his performance so he wouldn't get criticized? So people wouldn't come back on social media and in reports and say that he had a lackluster performance. Where was the adjustment at when you brought a new trainer in? See, Devin Haney fans, you can't refute this. You ain't gonna find this nowhere else. I see you in the chat. I see and read what you're saying. I can't read every comment, but I see what some of you are saying, you Devin Haney fans in my live chat. There's nothing you can say to defend Devin or Bill with what I just refute what I said with some evidence and facts. You can't. So accept it because it's about accountability. And Bill Haney is not taking accountability. Devin Haney is not taking accountability. Now, the reason why I say they're not taking accountability, because I'm only going by the tweet that Bill Haney published. It's back on your screen. I read it earlier. It's back on there. Let me read the last sentence. But after 12 rounds with Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez ended up in the back of an ambulance while Devin sat ringside laughing. Stop right there. Laughing for what? He was cool with his performance? Where's the accountability? He was laughing. What was funny? Because the fans of boxing is not laughing. The fans of boxing feel like they got robbed. They're not laughing. The ones who paid their hard-earned money to purchase this pay-per-view, they're not laughing. The people who invested their time in Times Square watching the fight live in person, they're not laughing. So what was Devin laughing for then? Well, I just want to figure out, Bill. Hey, Bill! What was so funny? Landing 70 punches as an elite fighter? That's funny? While you running? Is that funny? You laughing for what? Where? You know what's not funny? And was not something to embrace or laugh at? That we don't know when Devin Haney's next purse, next bag, next payday is coming. That's nothing to laugh at either. Because, yes, Ryan Garcia lost. That's one of the main components of why the fight between them is not happening in a rematch immediately. But we also have to include the fact that Devin Haney's performance had a lot to do with that as well. Against a tune-up, against a stepping stone, against a gatekeeper in Ramirez. No disrespect to Ramirez. He's a professional boxer, and I respect him. I'm saying that for the casual fan to understand my point. Because that's how they advertised this fight between Devin and Jose Ramirez. That's how they promoted it, didn't they? Okay. So that's all I'm saying, y'all. That's not funny. And that's nothing to laugh at. Because there's nobody else. Top level competition when I say nobody else. Top level competition when I say nobody else. Natural 147 pounders when I say nobody else. That Devin Haney's going to look good against. Because those 147 pounders, Devin can't fight like he performed against them. The top level opposition, like the 140 pounders, Devin Haney can't perform against them, even if they all met a catch weight, like they did on this fight with Devin and Jose. Gary Antoine Russell, Pitbull Cruz. He can't perform like that against those guys. Top level. 140 pounds. There's more. I'm just using them two as a reference. That's not funny. And that's nothing to laugh at. And I'll leave you all with this. The same thing I told Blue Balls, excuse me. The same thing that I told Blueberry, excuse me. The same thing I told Blue Blood. That's his name, not Blue Balls or Blueberry. Blue Blood. I told him this, and I'm going to tell Bill Haney this and Devin Haney. Hey, Bill! The scripture says, if you humble yourself, you will be exalted. But if you exalt yourself, you will be humbled. And Devin Haney and Bill Haney both were humbled in that Ryan Garcia fight. Stop exalting yourself and putting yourselves on a pedestal and thinking that you're more conceited than you actually are. And humble yourself. Boxing is about humility. Nobody should be sitting laughing at ringside, especially when their opponent had to end up in the back of an ambulance. There's nothing funny about that. And what else is not funny? It's not funny that y'all still laughing and didn't learn y'all lessons. Humble yourself, Bill and Devin. Humble yourself. Because both of y'all have another shot, another bite at the apple with your careers. Both of you. People halfway don't want to do business with neither one of you, especially you, Bill Haney. And that's coming from me, the boxing manager. Humble yourselves, man. Nobody should be laughing. That performance on Friday night was nothing to laugh at. Go back to the drawing board and improve on your skills physically and then business-wise, financially. Learn the business of boxing, Bill Haney, because that's not equally funny either. For y'all to run from promoter to promoter to promoter, now to turkey, a la Sheik with your hand out. That's not funny. But in the same breath, promoting the fact that you're your own bosses with your own company. I haven't seen you produce yet. That's not funny. Produce. You DHP promotion, produce. Produce, man. Stop doing a whole lot of talking and let's do some more footwork. That's my advice for the Haneys. There's nothing to laugh at. Your career is on the downhill right now. And Devin's not even 30 years old yet. And that's not funny either. And I'm not taking pleasure in it. That actually saddens me. Now, somebody might say, Manager Marty, there you go hating again. I made up a quote because of my experience in this business, and I'm going to leave it with you all. Good representation is priceless. Devin Haney has his father as representation, and he has yet to benefit from the fruits of his labor to his maximum potential because of his dad and the lack of knowledge that his dad possessed and the lack of humility that both of them possess. Who else gonna call him out on YouTube but me? I will. I'm speaking the truth in love. Y'all can call me a hater all y'all want. Bottom line is, it's not funny to see a young man who's not even 30 years old yet be on the backside of his career after 2 performances in his last 2 fights. There's nothing funny about that. Nobody should be laughing sitting ringside. Go back to the drawing board and learn how to make adjustments in the fight. Man, I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it.